Hi everyone and welcome to episode 2 of Relegation Rescue at Renhe Beijing in the Chinese Super League, and welcome to a brand new recording setup. High Def Kev. Is the world ready for it? Only time will tell. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I quite like how it's come out. I've got some brand new equipment, a brand new backdrop. I've only moved about 15 feet from where I was before, but I think this is going to be a much nicer environment to record from for both you and me. So let me know what you think in the comments below, but let's get right into Renhe Beijing, and we're going to play our first competitive match today. So let's see how we get on. So only a day or so has passed since you and I were together last. We haven't done anything much. I've been looking at some transfers. We are in the middle of a transfer window, in the July transfer window for the Chinese Super League. So hopefully some of that's going to come to fruition as we move through the save. But yeah, for now, we're just going to focus on the team that we've got and the game in front of us. Let's just go and briefly check in with the recent results. We saw these last episode. There's nothing much new to tell you about, but you can see that form hasn't been good and we need to turn that round. Although the last couple of games haven't been actually too bad for them. They had a 2-1 win and a 1-1 draw. So yeah, I mean, you know, I think the manager was a little bit unlucky to go when he did, really, but that's because I just stepped in and took over. Shh, don't tell anyone. But anyway, for today, we get DL Pro. Let's go and check them out a little bit and just see where they are. Click on the button, Kev. Thank you very much. 6th in the league, so going to be a tricky game, really, considering we find ourselves rock bottom of the Chinese Super League. There's only 16 teams, though, so there's only 30 matches to play. We've played 15 to go. We are currently 4 points behind safety. Can we do it? Today is a good chance to see where we fit in this particular division. But there are some transfers to tell you about, so let's see some of them now. Well, when I say there are transfers to tell you about, there's actually one to tell you about that's gone through, and it's a new striker. He's not going to be the #1 choice if I can get another one in that I'm trying to get at the moment, but he gives us an option up front. Lu Junjian. I'm going to butcher so many of these names, and I'm so sorry if it offends anybody, but we'll have to just go with it. Decent amount of finishing, good composure. Physicals are not great. There's not a lot more else other than the key attributes that we need for just being a poacher up front, basically. But that's all I'm asking him to do. So hopefully he'll do that well. So he comes into the club, and it was a loan deal for the rest of the season. So it didn't cost the club anything. We do have, if we go and have a look in this one here, you can see that we do have a number of offers out for players at the moment. And you can see that central defence is an area where I think we really need to improve. So there's several out for that. But there is also another striker potentially that I really want to get if I can. The youngster that's already been signed, this one, Tsu. He is coming in a couple of years. This is something the club did before I arrived, so it's nothing to do with me. We won't see him in this particular series because it's only a half season series, just to see if we can avoid relegation with a side that look as though they're struggling a little bit, don't they? Anyway, let's see what we've decided to play in terms of a tactic before today's game. So I think we talked about this a little bit last episode, just in our setup episode. We didn't have a left-sided winger. I could have gone potentially and tried to buy some, but I thought, well, let's work with mostly what we've got and hope that the ones that we can bring in will supplement this. We're going to play basically a 4-3-2-1, but we're not going to play a wide left midfielder. We're going to play a central midfielder instead in the attacking role. So 3 across the middle in the central midfield line, 2 on the attacking midfield line, but only 1 wide. We're going to ask the left wing back, full-back, to do a bit of up and down work down that left-hand side. But we're going to play the fluid counter attack. So we're going to try and soak up a little bit of pressure and then work our way through this team to try and get some opportunities ourselves. So overall, I think it's going to be an interesting one to see if we can get to work. I'm reasonably happy that we've got the players that fit into this system, even if the quality of the player potentially could be improved if we get it right in the transfer market. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. That's going to come in the next couple of days. After today's game, we've got about a week before we play again. So in that period of time, then I would be trying to make sure we can get some of those transfers done if possible. But wish me luck, folks. We're going to be doing the first ever team sheet in the Chinese Super League, and I am going to butcher so many of these names. So what have we got? We have Zhang Zheng in goal, Bo Yang at right back, Clayton and Yang in central defence, Yang Hang at left fullback, Malumbi, Vaise, Dunha in central midfield. We've got Pereira on the right. We've got Young Jing sitting in the attacking midfield role. And we've got Jun Zhan, the new striker, up top. And a bunch load more on the bench that I'm not going to go through because I'm scared of getting them all wrong. Anyway, let's get into today's game and see what happens. So for a team talk, I've decided to keep the gestures to a minimum just at this point, not put any pressure on them, but just say, let's go and have a good performance, despite the odds being against us, and just see what we can do. I'm just going to, once we've gone through the intro section here, I'm just going to check on the actual rate, not the ratings. Yeah, I thought these were wrong. We're going to have to rearrange these. So this will give you an insight into what I use. We use the TV camera, height all the way to the left, zoom all the way to the right. We're on key highlights, match speed. We're going to put a couple above that center point, and we're going to go behind the goal for the replays. And to set that up, if we go and do the behind goals, and then we can set it in exactly the way we want. So we want a bit more height on the replays. So let's put that there. And we're also going to be zooming right in on the replays a little bit more. So let's put that on about the same sort of mark. No, we need it a bit more than that. Let's go with that for now. And just see how we find it as we move through, but that's roughly what I normally use anyway. If you've got any other settings that you would prefer to use, then let me know in the comments below. I will always use the TV camera for the main footage, but it's the highlights that I need a slightly better angle for, I think. So let me know what you use in the comments below, but let's get into the kickoff. So we're going to be playing in our orange strip. It's the main colours of the club. You can see that on the badge that we have, etc. So that's going to be a lot of the time what we're wearing. And today we come up against DL Pro, as I say, who are sitting in 6th place. So it's going to be a real tester. But I'm hopeful that if we can stay in the game, we can't stay in the game. What great timing. Wang Jingjun, I think, for DL Pro. Good sweeping free kick, but the goalkeeper was well out of position. Another area that I'm not particularly impressed by in terms of what we got in the club is the goalkeepers, to be honest. They do need a little bit of work on them, so I'm hunting for one of them as well. But there is only so much that we can do in one transfer window to a fairly poor setup, it must be said. So we'll have to wait and see whether we can achieve that as well. But yeah, goalkeepers, we don't have some particularly good ones, really. Again, it's DL Pro down the right-hand side this time, and there was a foul over that far side. He's not going to get sent off, is he? Oh, no. In the first match, we had a sending off as well. And it goes from bad to worse. At 38 minutes, we're 1 down. And now we're a man down too, and we've got to pretty much rearrange everything. Fortunately, Bo Yang, who plays at right fullback for us, is actually more of a centre-back by trade. So what we're going to do is simply, where can I go for that? Let's do it over here. So we're going to bring him, switch him around, and then move into a back three, if I can get the buttons to work. Sometimes they're really fiddly, aren't they, to get those sort of things to work. That's as good as we can do, I think, really. So we're going to go in and play the back three. and just start praying to the football manager gods, really, because it could get really bad, couldn't it, over the next 45 minutes. We're going to get to half-time only 1-0 down, and that's not terrible, really, considering where we are in the league, etc. But just at the moment, we need to start picking up points. And you can see the match stats for the first half are all in DL Pro's favour. No shots at goal, no shots on target for us. No corners, a few fouls, passing completion's not too bad, 46% possession is not too bad, and then we look at DL Pros and they've got quite a bit better than we have. Anyway, there's not much we can do that other than get out into the second half and see what we can do. So we're going into the dressing room and we're going to have to point the finger and say, I want to see a much better performance. We're going to go into the tactics and just check in with the mentality, and we're going to go a bit more positive just because why not? At the moment, what I was trying to do is soak up the play a little bit and then counter attack, but we're going to have to be on the front foot a little bit more. So we'll do that, and then we'll go back into the second half, and immediately going back in, we're going to have to fire the team up and just see if we can get anything from them at all. Again, it's DL Pro, though. We're going to have to sit quite narrow at this point because of the loss of that man through the sending off. So it does mean they're going to have a lot of wide play. But we do find ourselves with the possession of the ball on the halfway line. Zhang Jun, he drops it back to Pereira down that right-hand side. One of the like half dozen foreigners in the setup. Gets a good cross in, but we can't make the most of it. But at least we got a cross in. But yeah, there's an issue in the setup in terms of too many foreigners in the club. I don't know what the club were thinking because they brought them all in at the same time. But there's a limit on about 5 that you can have in your match day squad at any point, and we've got 6 in the club, and you're only allowed 4 in the first 11 lineup as well. So we're going to have to rearrange some of that, but we've got to get some players in first to be able to do it. And there was a slight stall on the game there, but DL Pro get into the right-hand side of the penalty box and have a really wild shot at goal, don't they? And it didn't really challenge anybody, let alone the goalkeeper, other than the bloke who was sitting about 15 rows back, maybe. Pereira on the ball again for us. Dunner takes over, back to Weiser. And wow, that was a fantastic, really good finish by Jun Jan in the penalty box. So we played it nicely in that central midfield area, and then Weiser puts the ball over the top and he runs onto the ball really nicely. There's some good interplay between Dunner and Pereira, drops it back to Weiser, and he puts it over the top as long as there's no offside there. That is a really classy finish from Jun Jan on his debut for Renhe Beijing. I'm very impressed by that. Let's see what happens as the game stalls a little bit again. We're having a little bit of an issue there. Please tell me there's no offside. And there isn't. I think we saw the line there a little bit earlier than maybe they meant to show it to us. But we do get an equalising goal. Do we stay on the positive outlook, or do we revert back to something a little bit more containing? I think we're going to stay where we are just for now. 64 minutes gone. We're going to make a couple of changes in a minute to the personnel, but we've got, let's go through this highlight first for DL Pro. Let's see if we can defend better than we have been. And we do pretty well. We do get it partially cleared, but again, they pick it up, get it into the penalty box. And there is another strike at goal. Now, I've just moved a little bit, like 20 foot away from, 15 foot away from where I was recording before. And that's the sort of second or third slight stumble in the feed that we've had. I wonder whether I'm a little bit far away from the router, maybe. But it was an offside goal. That's good. Whilst I was talking about the router, it came up with an offside. So that's positive for us. 72 minutes. We're going to pause it there and just see if we can get into the team and just put some fresh legs on, really, to see us through. It's going to be a bit of a challenging one. We can't really replace the fullbacks. We're going to replace the midfield a little bit, I think. So let's go with, what have we got here? Malumbi not having the best of games, so we're going to bring Zhan Zhan in instead. We're going to take off the striker, even though he's had a great game, just to try and protect him a little bit. because I think we're going to need him in the next few games. And then we should really take this attacking player off. But we've got nobody else really to play the role. Oh, no, Duna can. So we're going to switch those round. And then we're going to take Yongjin off. And we're going to put Yu Hang on in his place. And just reset those to how I want them to play. And then confirm the changes and get back into the match. And just see if in the last 15 or 20 minutes we can find a way to see this match out. And try and get a really valuable point, if nothing more. I think the second half has been much, much better than the first. The first half was fairly dreadful, wasn't it? But we've come into the game a little bit more. And you can see that we lose possession off a goal kick, which is disappointing. We should put it more central. They've really made us pay for it. That is frustrating, isn't it? Because if the goalkeeper had just gone down the middle of the pitch where all of our players are, we wouldn't have just given it away so easily to the opposition to run back at us down the right-hand side. Good cross into the far post, and they get a good strike at goal. And we go 2-1 down with about 6 minutes plus added time to play. And it looks like we're heading for a loss, unfortunately, and we really are now. Headed goal from Yo Peng. Should I have gone more defensive? Probably. Am I still trying to get used to the team? Definitely. But it looks like we're going to lose the game 3-1. Another good cross comes in from the right-hand side. That's a very good header at the back post. But the defender could have done a little bit more to put him off, potentially. But yeah, that's going to be a little bit tricky, isn't it? If we're going to lose set piece goals like that. Again, as the game stalls. Let me know in the comments below if you've got this sort of thing that happens to you. Is it just that I've moved 15 feet away from the router? I don't know about these things particularly, but it doesn't seem that far away. But all of a sudden we're getting... Yeah. Anyway, that's for another day to sort that out. And DL Pro have got really another great opportunity from a free kick. And this time they hit the woodwork and it goes over the top of the bar. And that's probably going to see us pretty much through to the end of the match. As again, we stall. And the goal kick is probably going to be the last action of this. We get it. We don't get it anywhere. They get it back at us. And then they give it away to us on a throw-in as well. It's a bit of a damp ending so far. We've got 30 seconds left. Can we do something with it? We can't. Can we really? That's the honest truth. And we'll have to do a lot better than this as we move forward into the coming weeks of the season, because we need to pick up those points. Again, we're kind of making our own mistakes in the defensive area. We had a chance to boot it clear there and didn't take it. And there goes the final whistle. And it was a comprehensive win in the end. But I think for that sort of 20-25 minute period in the start of the second half, I thought we did pretty well. We came back into the game a little bit. But if you look at the match stats, they dominated every aspect of it, really. We got a decent goal, something to work on there. But ultimately, we are going to have to do a darn sight better than this if we're going to avoid relegation. But it was against a decent opposition. So here we are back on the schedule page just to finish off this episode, and there was some bugs in the episode, wasn't there? Really, in terms of our gameplay, we didn't quite do enough. We played all right for a section of the game, but not quite enough. Let's hope some of those transfers get done and we can improve this squad as we move forward. A couple of bugs in the gameplay as well that I need to sort out for the new recording setup. Let me know if you've got any advice for that in the comments below. But next episode, what we're going to do for this series, if you didn't know already, is that we're going to come back every other game through to the end of the season. So it's only about another 6 or 7 episodes. But we get to play Tianjin next, away from home. Let's just go and check them out and see that they are in second place. We're going to lose all of the episodic games, aren't we? Oh dear, it's going to be a challenge, this one. It's going to be a real challenge. If you've got any experience of the Chinese Super League, do let me know in the comments below as well. But Tianjin, next episode. For today, disappointing result, but a start of a brand new chapter for the channel in terms of the look and the feel of it. Let me know about all of that kind of stuff in the comments below. But that's going to do it for today. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode and help me get seen by lots more people. Until next time though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.